I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I raise here to register and request the government to intervene in the way Dr. Besigye is being treated in New Zealand. We have visited him. This those of us who belong to the same side with him. We have talked to him, taken food. Now that right has been taken away by the prison authority. But also when you visit him, last time I was there with the Honorable Mwingiti, Honorable Kamara, they have now put a glass, so he stands behind some glass and there is a microphone. You can't even be sure that you are speaking to him. We don't know why this condition is, because Dr. Besigye is the most imprisoned person under this government. This is the first time that he is being treated like this. What is worrying us, Mr. Speaker, even more, when you deny people food of their choice, because food is also medicine. We have had colleagues who leave Ruzira, including Besigye's brother, and as soon as they leave, they die. Dr. Chibun and others. We don't know whether it is deliberate that when Dr. Besigye, if he ever leaves, he leaves when his life has been really affected. More worrying, the CDF, General Mosca in Rugaba, announced that Dr. Besigye will be hanged. Mr. Speaker, I did not take the statements of General Mosca seriously, but now I do. Why? He said they will go and attack Kenya, it will be Nairobi. Actually, I thought it was a joke. But Dr. Besigye was kidnapped from Nairobi. We had some other colleagues, 36, kidnapped from Kisumu. For me, I don't need any further evidence that actually they attacked Nairobi and took it over long ago. When the other day he called the General Ruru a buffoon, I kept asking myself, did he ever do something buffoonary for General Ruru to begin calling him a buffoon? And for EPDF officers who are here, you must be very careful with what you do. I kept asking, what has he done? My memory took me to Kasese, where he commanded the attack on Rubiri. And I said, is that what Muhoozi was referring to as buffoonery? So I am using that as an illustration to say I take his statement because our colleague needs protection. He said his New Year resolution includes arresting General. I am happy General is here, hasn't yet been arrested. So, Mr. Speaker, I am saying I take his statements. The other day he said he will arrest the Committee on Defense. Those crowns cannot summon me. And I saw them seated comfortably. The guy has refused to come. So I now take his statement serious. So when he says he wants to hang Dr. Besigye in May, he said he has actually now shifted it. I don't know whether starving him in New Zealand becomes part of the process, but I want to ask government to tell us. Dr. Besigye was generous. He treated President Museveni when they were fighting in Ruwero and his family. Why are they paying him by starving him, Mr. Speaker?
Thank you. Honourable Minister for Internal Affairs.
Right, Honourable Speaker, I'm not a clown. But I want to respond to the Honourable Ssemujju's concerns, especially food, which is a basic right, and I want to say that the family of Dr. Besigye accredited 6 people, and it's only those that are allowed to bring food. We can't extend beyond that one for security reasons. Number two, the place where Dr. Besigye meets visitors is the accredited place for other people to meet visitors. And you speak from a handset, by intercom, and that is universal practice. That's what I want to.
But it's not right to lie. The Honorable Mujiti is here. We went and met Dr. Besigye, even spoke to him. This speaking behind the glass is a new thing. Maybe you don't go to prison. We keep visiting people you have arrested. I was in Kitale, I was in Kibu. I have never spoken to anyone behind the glasses, Moz. Maybe you live in heaven.
Practice is it a new? Amrak, I haven't been to Ruzira, so I can't speak from it,
Honorable Speaker, what I want to bring out is that it's not targeting Dr. Besigye. It's not discriminating against him. It applies to all the inmates.
So now that's a practice. Yeah, so honorable colleagues, if they have the way now they are handling prisoners, and it's for all prisoners, now here, what should I do? And they've told, no. No, I really, colleagues, please. I avoid the situation where we just continue on something rotating. Now, the person, the Honorable Minister in charge of prisons, he has told you that this is how they are treating all prisoners. If there are prisoners who are being treated differently, okay, also it's a matter we should come and handle. But for now, this is not a matter you can resolve on this floor. Okay? Honorable Minister's submission has been very clear, and I don't think I can go beyond that. Honorable Zumra. Honorable colleagues, we've started a political year, a year of campaigns. And yet our mandate still runs. We still have statutory obligations. We have obligations to our constituents. So this is a year where we wish you all the best, because our prayer is to see each one of us back. That's what we pray for. Though I've had situations, I've had a few cases where colleagues have been coming saying, so and so is in my constituency disturbing me, the colleague disturbing a colleague, campaigning for other colleagues in the constituency. Some of them use names, especially colleagues, if you have friends, your name will be associated with many cases. So and so is coming against me, you're the one funding. It will be coming. So, but I request that we maintain cohesion. I request that when we go, it's our policy here. It's an unwritten policy. That when you go to a colleague's constituency, you support that colleague. It's an unwritten policy. And then you read it to the voters. If you can't support, don't talk about a colleague. Just leave it at that. But for harmony purposes. Because after when we come here, we are family. So, we are going to design our program in such a way as leadership of the House that we give you time to be able to engage the constituencies. While at the same time, you're able to do your work. A very good example, when we have, like in the budgeting period, we shall be giving you enough time to handle under committees, but then we give you a break, I'll be giving you intermittent breaks so that you're able to go back and engage your constituents. Otherwise, you might be here when they are finishing beyond ground, and people want to remember that. But we shall ensure that we try to accommodate most of these issues without us missing our critical function that we are supposed to be doing here. Well, there is a comment I wanted to make when we are receiving the Auditor General's report, but I better say it now. Honourable colleagues, I received the Auditor General's report last week, and what I'm happy with is that the meeting we had with the Auditor General has now helped us and widened the scope of what we can cover when we are interrogating the report. We agreed together with the two chairpersons who managed to join me in a meeting with the Auditor General some time back, that doing only financial audit won't help us and won't enable us to do our work efficiently. Because that's why you could hear that I have an unqualified opinion. But then the report and the details from the public, totally different. There was always a mismatch between the opinions of the Auditor General and what we are getting. So now we agreed that the Auditor General should be a combined report that has a value for money audit, that has a special audit, so that is one report, and we are able to go beyond just financial audits, but it also go for value for money. Now, he has done that everywhere, and I hope this time the scope of the accountability committees will be much wider and more detailed, so that we don't just look at discharge and all that, but we also go especially on value for money. If you said you did 1 kilometer per kilometer rail at 1 billion in Masaka, how come in the neighboring district of Jantonde is doing it? If you're charging 1 billion, how come they are doing it at 500 million? Same landscape, same conditions, but this side you're not getting value, this side you're getting value. So accountability committees, I hope you're going to now squeeze in much deeper. But what was worrying, honorable colleagues, only 31% of the recommendations, according to the Auditor General, he says only 31% of the recommendations from Parliament, when we were adopting the report, were fully implemented in the last financial year. 35% were partially implemented, and 34% were not implemented at all. Now this brings us how we handle the issue of the Treasury Memorandum, which we had discussion around here and agreed. The Treasury Memorandum, which was attached, I will request Chairperson the sector committees, when you're processing ministerial policy statements and the budget, please let the accounting officers explain why they did not implement recommendations of the accounting of the Auditor General. Otherwise, these are recommendations from government officials who are supposed to be looking at these books. Why should we add you money when you fail to address the issues of accountability which were found in? So now at sector committee level is where we can use our power to bite and squeeze the accounting officers to ensure that indeed we have full implementation of the recommendations of the Auditor General as adopted by the Parliament. Matters of national.
Honourable Speaker, in your communication, you have mentioned that this is an election year, and rightly so, because the election is a process. It's not an event, as some people like to think of it, the day of casting the ballot. It's a process which happens beginning with the update of the voters register, all the way to all the other activities, nominations, campaigns, etc., and then eventually voting. Honourable Speaker, yesterday, update of the voters register commenced, but with numerous challenges with this very critical exercise, because this is an exercise that is meant to see new voters coming on board, people trying to be sure their details are on the voters register, those that want to make transfers, and so on and so forth. In many places, and I'm sure some colleagues here can attest, many places the process did not commence yesterday. And we are trying to understand why. Did this just fall on the Electoral Commission and they woke up and realized they need to start this process? Their officials were not in many places, including my constituency, many parts of my constituency, which is just a few kilometers from Kampala. Now think about colleagues who come from far-flung places. Honourable Speaker, there has not been adequate awareness about this process by the Electoral Commission. Yesterday I was dumbfounded to watch on the news a number of ALC1 chairpersons, ALC2 parish chairpersons, who did not know about this exercise. And then the Electoral Commission is meant to do this in tandem with these local officials. In a couple of places, you find they have one computer per sub-county. And many of these computers are even faulty. They are not working as should be. Honourable Speaker, I like to think this is a very critical part of the election process. Because like I've said, the election is a process. would like government to help us understand, are they taking this process seriously? Now that it did not even commence in time as should have, will they extend the time? Because we were actually concerned, thinking the 30 days are not even adequate. Now, it did not even start in time. 20 days, I beg your pardon. The 20 days, in our view, were not adequate, but now the process did not even start in time. Will the time be extended? But the other concern that I do have, Honorable Speaker, the process has been made extremely cumbersome, especially for the new voters. They have to get recommendation from GISO, DISO, HISO, FISO, I don't know what. It would make sense for the LC1 chairpersons. That's okay, that's understandable. They need to know the people in their areas and so on. But why all these layers? Somebody has got a national ID. They are known by their LC1 chairpersons. Why do they have to go and look for a GISO, then look for a DISO, they will go to their home or their office, the place is locked, and all of this making the process problematic. Honorable Speaker, I would like government to address these issues and help us understand. Can the process be made a little bit longer and better awareness? Thank you.
Thank you. Now, the Honorable Narima Eke, so it was one of the matters I had put here to be considered under matters of national importance. 6 members on that same question. Attorney General come respond, and then I see how best I can guide on this question.
But the question is quite wide, and I do not want to answer it off top. I'm requesting that you give me time. I'll liaise with the Electoral Commission so that I can formally answer that question.
Thank you. So, on the answer. Okay? You want him to do what? You want to give you a half. So, but, please, Honorable colleagues, let us have a statement from government tomorrow. Is it late, Attorney General?
Right, Honorable, I need to get in touch with the Electoral Commission so that I can get a
tomorrow
response.
Parliament starts at 2.
But Speaker,
Yes, let's listen to the Attorney General.
Honorable Speaker, I need to get in touch with the Electoral Commission so that I get information which I relay to Parliament. I'm requesting that I do that on Thursday, next week.
No. The Attorney General. Okay, Honorable colleagues, this exercise is ongoing, and you see, Government Chief Whip, I had guided the ministers that for such exercises, Parliament is a big platform in which you gain prime time, wide coverage. So when you bring a statement here, we give you free coverage and you inform the nation. You are addressing the nation when you are here. So I would do this the Attorney. No.
I'm requesting for Thursday, right, Honorable.
Honorable colleagues, on Thursday at 2 p.m. we shall receive a statement from the Attorney General on the same, listen, and I will allow a debate of that statement for 1 hour. Okay? So that all your issues are covered. And Honorable Minister, Honorable Attorney General, I'm sure with that statement and even technical officers coming to support you, you'll be able to answer all the questions. Okay? Thank you. On my communication.
Thank you, Right Honorable. I appreciate the concern raised by my sister, Honorable Batiku. Right Honorable Speaker, originally the government committed itself to do compensation in 3 sub-regions, Acholi, Lango, and Iteso. When the exercise started, there was pressure from other sub-regions. West Nile, Bugisu, Bukedi, Busoga, and parts of Rwenzori which were hit by the ADF. This matter was presented to Cabinet, and a decision was taken that we wait, we first see how the other areas are being compensated, because we would be overwhelmed and the government may not be able to appropriately carry that burden. So the idea was that we first do substantial work on the 3 sub-regions, then we would seek guidance from Cabinet and be directed.
Thank you. Honorable colleagues, you have power to empower yourselves through
The expiry of the Ugandan national identification cards. Right Honourable Speaker and honourable members, I present this statement in relation to the expired Ugandan national identification cards in order to provide clarity on the measures taken by the Ministry to address this issue. Section 694 of the Registration of Persons Act, Cap 332, provides that a national identification card shall be valid for such a period as the Minister may prescribe by regulations. Right Honourable Speaker and honourable members, previously under the Regulation 19 of the ROPA Statutory Instrument number 67 of 2015, the validity of national IDs was prescribed as 10 years. However, in recognition of the need for immediate intervention, in August last year, the Ministry issued the Registration of Persons Amendment Regulations number 67 of 2024, which extended the validity period of all national identification cards issued by NIRA by 1 additional year. This was in light of the planned mass enrollment, which had delayed, so we wanted a stopgap measure. Right Honourable Speaker and members, consequently all identification cards initially issued with a validity period of 10 years are now valid for 11 years from the date of issuance. Right Honourable Speaker and members, the inclusion of expiry dates on Ugandan national identification cards serves practical, legal and security purposes as justified below. 1. Updating security features. Technology and security measures evolve rapidly. An expiry date ensures that identification cards can be periodically updated to incorporate advanced security features, making them less susceptible to forgery or misuse. Right Honourable Speaker and honourable members, regular renewal cycles are a proactive measure to maintain the integrity of the national identification system. Number 2, data accuracy and currency. Over time, personal details such as physical appearance, addresses, and contact information may also change. An expiry date encourages citizens to update their information periodically, ensuring that NIRA maintains an accurate and up-to-date database. 3. Wear and tear. Right Honourable Speaker and members, physical identification cards are subject to wear and tear over time due to regular use. An expiry date allows for the timely replacement of cards to ensure that their functionality and readability, which is critical for verifying identity, remains valid. Number 4, international standards and compliance. Section 5.2 of the Registration of Persons Act, Cap 332,
procedure.
Mr. Speaker, I had thought that these changes were meant to protect the Speaker. The way the Honorable Gwang has run, even jumped barricades. So the procedural issue I am raising, Mr. Speaker, is whether colleagues must not be educated that the new changes actually are meant, you simply can't go and begin interacting with the Speaker like the Minister of Education was doing.
Thank you. I can see you're very attentive, Honourable Ssemujju, watching closely. They were of course meant for wrong people, and Honourable Peter is not one of them. He made for me a sign that he needed to share with me something. So when you need to come here, you need first make a sign, and then I judge you, I see. Because some of you look at me with threatening eyes, so that I'm able to know whether you're dangerous or not. Okay? Thank you. like chances of allowing Honorable Ssemujju are very minimal when he wants to come here.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I was actually worried when the Honorable Paul kept standing, but I think he has left. That said, right, Honorable Speaker and the Honorable members, we have reached data accuracy and currency. Over time, personal details such as physical appearance, addresses, and contact information may change, and expiry date encourages citizens to update their information periodically, ensuring that NIRA maintains an accurate and up-to-date database. Wear and tear. Physical identification cards are subject to wear and tear over time due to regular use, and expiry date allows for the timely replacement of the cards to ensure their functionality and readability, which is critical for verifying identity. 4. International standards compliance. Section 5(2) of the ROPA provides that NIRA shall observe general accepted information security practices and procedures and specific industrial professional rules and regulations. Document 9303, International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO machine readable travel documents, MRTB 8th edition 2021 part 9, provides the deployment of biometric identification and electronic storage of data. In MRTB's section 2.2 provides for the validity period of these documents under which identification cards fall, which is 10 years. This therefore aligns Uganda with international standards and facilitates the use of the national identification card for cross-border travel and other international purposes. Right, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members, Section 695 of the ROPA imposes a duty on NIRA to renew expired IDs upon application by the holders. In addition to Regulation 23 of the ROPA of the regulations, it requires that holders of national IDs apply to NIRA for renewal at least 2 months before the expiry. The expiry of the national identification card does not, under any circumstances, amount to expiry of the person's citizenship. Because this has been a repeated worry, so we need to amplify it for the public to know. Section 695 of the Registration of Persons Act makes this clear, and Section 682 affirms that an individual's national identification number is prima facie evidence of citizenship. The name is a lifetime number which remains valid until the demise of the holder of a card. Right, Honorable Speaker and members, the Ministry is aware of the challenges faced by citizens holding these expired IDs, particularly while using them as travel documents within the region, and these challenges are in spite of the extension of the validity period here in Uganda. To address this challenge, the Ministry engaged with the Sister Ministry of East African Affairs and that of Foreign Affairs to signal the other ESC member states about this provisional time-bound measure. Our aim is to secure acceptance of this interlude measure of extended IDs for travel purposes within the region. Nonetheless, we are also soon starting the mass enrollment and renewal exercise, albeit slightly later than earlier planned, but nevertheless still within the stipulated time, to renew all the expired national identity cards and also enlist fresh eligible entrants on the National Identity Information Register. I wish to inform this House that NIRA is actively developing new technological advancements to enhance the National Security Information System and improve the security features of our National Identification Card before the commencement of the mass enrollment exercise. The long-term plan, because this has been also a query by the public, is to introduce e-IDs with no expiry, a measure that will save costs and reduce the inconvenience associated with mass physical card renewals. Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, the extension of the validity period by an extra period of 1 year provides the necessary time frame to integrate these upgrades into the renewal process, as well as mitigate any of the arising inconveniences regarding service delivery before renewal, thus improving the overall functionality and security of the system and the cards. The extension thereafter is a provisional stopgap measure and not a substitute for new national identification cards. Right Honourable Speaker and members, I will assure you that the Ministry of Internal Affairs is committed to ensuring that the identity and rights of Ugandan citizens are protected and upheld. The Ministry shall continue working tirelessly to ensure a smooth mass renewal and mass enrollment exercise of the national identification cards. I beg to submit to the Speaker and honourable members.
Thank you. Honourable colleagues, this is a straightforward statement. I'll just pick two from NRM, one from opposition, one independent. Okay? Honourable Megade, Honourable Besigye, Shadow Minister, and yes, a Shadow Minister is not a minister. And then, I'm looking for an independent. I think Honourable Roland is an independent. Honourable Besigye is not an independent. Yes, so let's do quickly 2 minutes each.
Thank you very much,
Opposition, the Shadow Minister.
Honourable Speaker.
And I'll also pick one party president in Honourable Besigye.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I rose on a procedural matter. Honourable Speaker, you see...
Oh, you rose on procedure or you're debating?
Procedure.
Well, you already on the microphone, I thought you...
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, for your understanding. Honourable Speaker, it's a rare occasion having three sector ministers attending plenary. But last week, on this same floor, I raised a matter of national importance. And it was to do with the piracy on the lake, whether some of us...
The statement of the minister. Right Honourable Speaker, remember very well this parliament appropriated money for purposes of NIRA carrying out a mass enrollment or renewal. In the statement of the minister, it is lacking how far they have gone and when we are expecting that mass enrollment or mass renewal. Remember, it was first scheduled for July, and then it was extended for January, this January. As we talk now, there is no clear program, and as you are aware, EC and NIRA, they are working hand in hand. And that is one of the issues which has been complained by members. One kit of NIRA has been distributed per sub-county. So it is hard to handle the registration of people, which is ongoing right now, because it is only one kit per sub-county. What is the clear deadline when we are expecting the mass renewal or mass registration of the people? Since the money was long released. Thank you.
Honourable Roland.
For the statement. Right on Speaker, for the issues. Number one, on the issue of expiry, we are finding ourselves in this situation because of the minister. Right on Speaker, expiry dates are set by the minister. In fact, section 69 that you quoted is the one that gives you the mandate to set expiry dates. And I don't know your justification for setting 10 years. You did talk about wear and tear and the rest. NIRA by nature should be in position to provide continuous registration services without necessarily setting expiry dates. We are now finding ourselves in a very big dilemma, right, Honourable Speaker. Even the 1-year extension, and it was gazetted, there was a statutory instrument. Even the 1-year extension, there is a very big likelihood that the mass registration will not commence within that period. And what that means is that the minister will again give another extension. So I want to propose, Minister, that instead of setting your deadlines at 10 years, you could consider extending or setting a deadline that will not be problematic in terms of implementation. Because this parliament gave you that authority under the proper regulations that we are quoting. Second, Honourable Speaker,
There is another challenge when you come to mass registration and the like. A minister issued regulations making it an offense not to register under those regulations. But he didn't put into consideration the fact that sometimes failure to register is on their part. I want to request Honorable Speaker that this fine of 40,000 that you put in the regulations should be scrapped. Because, as we have seen even with the Electoral Commission, just with the NIRA, sometimes the difficulty comes from your part, your machines become faulted, in some places the human resource is not there. This burden should not be visited on the one age. So I want to propose, Minister, that under Regulation 23 of the ROPA, where we are putting the fine of 40,000 shillings, you still have the mandate that fine should be scrapped to give people opportunity to register, and as a matter of policy, registration should be a continuous process. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, you had recruitment of the officers helping this exercise. Many of the people who applied are in the public just waiting. What's going on? Honorable Minister? And when are you?
Honorable Speaker, maybe could I run through the questions of members? Starting with the Honorable Vataringa, I think I concur with him. His idea is that we decentralize further than the district for ease of people getting birth certificates. But I want also to say that many institutions register, especially hospitals, because they are the first call centers for people who deliver, and then they only inform NIRA. But points taken, Honorable Vataringa, our idea is to be reachable, and I take your point and concern. Honorable Chirabo talked about the same issue, more or less, decentralization, but I want to correct her that means don't expire. Because she mentioned that identification numbers expire. They don't. What expires is the physical card. The Honorable Speaker talked about whether the Right Honorable Speaker, whether we adjusted the software or only did the legal aspect of extension. Unfortunately, we did the latter. We didn't adjust the software to synchronize it with the adjustment in the time frame legally. And that is the problem this is causing to us as the members are complaining. Right Honorable Chiwanuka, mass enrollment and renewal, when is it starting? Indeed, this House appropriated money for the exercise. I want to report that the processes are ongoing. Equipment is now in country. Training is taking place on that new equipment. People are recruited, and actually we used them a little bit in the mop-up exercise for the people we thought would make 18 by 2026 in schools. I think you had members saying, what is NIRA doing in schools? We wanted to catch up so that we don't lose that time to wait for mass enrollment. For now, Honorable Chiwanuka, we don't want to confuse the public. For you to do updates and then start enrollment. The EC said, first hold your exercise, we finish the updates and then start on mass enrollment. But we are going to begin, as promised. You gave the money and we must deliver, Honorable Chiwanuka. JD, why don't we work in a concerted way as government? Yes, UBOS, EC, NIRA, but these are different outputs. UBOS doesn't take fingerprints, they just count people. EC is fed by NIRA. So I want members to understand the functions of each of these institutions and what they do and how they complement each other. The transition from physical to the digital ID also depends on many factors. Yes, Honorable Ssemujju.
Thank you very much. We are spending a lot of money by different deployments. For example, and I am taking a point from Honorable Chiwanuka. If you train people to go and do enumeration, they can be the same people who will do registration. Right now, the people who are doing registration actually is not electoral commission, it's actually nil, but helping the electoral commission, because I've asked them and they have told me that you're going to pay them and then you call the people, but also you call the equipment. And then tomorrow use the same people and money to deploy them. I thought that's the point that Honorable Chuanuka was making. Just do one deployment, train people to do work for all the institutions, then they do it at once.
Like people. Actually, the people who are doing the update are neither who are residents in the districts, using the old kit, not the new one, because the new one needs training on them. So we thought it's wise to use the old kit, using newer people to help us. And indeed, I think some of these costs can be rationalized and shared, like the Honorable and and Chuanuka said, and later complemented by Honorable Ssemujju. Transition home. Why not now? Why not later? Now, of course, we are going to do, hopefully, what will be the last physical ID mass enrollment. Money is already spent. The processes are ongoing. So certainly we can't transition to the e-system. But also there are other factors. The country is mainly still, many people don't have smartphones. Internet access is limited. So all those factors, I think, need to be taken care of before we finally shift to the digital ID. But I hope and believe that this will be the last physical card renewal and enrollment exercise this country undertakes. Then Honorable Odakas talked about fingerprints. Fingerprints diminish. It's true. Most people, the rounded fellows who do manual labor are affected. But we are going to introduce new features in the ID which will take care of this, especially the iris. It will be taken, and that will take care of this worry of only relying on fingerprints. The Honorable Asumani talked about this being our creation, the problem we are facing. Why not more than 10 years? 10 years is international practice, Honorable Asumani, and we don't want to be the deviant in the room, but also we think this will be the last time that this is happening. And I want to lay the fears of members. We shall start mass enrollment before the 1-year extension expires. The failure to register, that is an administrative issue which we can review. It's not cast in stone, and I think we can look at it and then take action.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.